So here at Ressence, we're going to introduce you to the Type 2 e-cron concept. So Ressence, first as a brand, it's important to understand the context of why we did the Type 2 e-cron concept. The Type 2 e-cron concept is our vision of the 21st century fine watchmaking, what it should be, what it can be. And first of all, let me say that we don't impose our view of fine watchmaking. Let's put some context why we did it. Ressence is a young brand, 8 years old. Therefore, we cannot look at the past. We have no archives to dig in. What we want to do is to look forward and to think, how can we improve at Ressence? We do everything with a function in mind. How can we improve the functionality of a watch, of a mechanical watch, because it's very important. It's a mechanical watch. We love mechanical watch because we still believe in the empathy that you have towards a mechanical watch, and we do fine watchmaking, a different kind of fine watchmaking, but it's still fine watchmaking. And we want to bring back, as I said, functionality and also experience into a watch, and a new experience, a 21st century experience. We ask ourselves also at Ressence is why the fine watchmaking stop looking around at new technologies. There are new technologies available. Everybody is using those new technologies. Look at the car industry. Why is the fine watchmaking? They stopped like 100 years ago or whatever in terms of technologies, I would say. So we said, okay, let's try to bring new technologies into a mechanical watch, and not to replace, but to enhance the functionality and the experience. And that's what we tried to do. The same way, if I can compare to a hypercar, I would say, if you look at the McLaren P1, if you look at the Enzo LaFerrari, it's a combustion engine, but backed up by electronics. And the electronics is only there to make it faster, to make it better. And that's the same way we try to think about, okay, let's try to improve a mechanical watch. So that's a bit of a context. Then I'm going to explain the Type 2 e-cron concept that we have here. So we have, concept is not a marketing name. It's purely because it's still a concept in the prototyping phase, I would say. Production version, nevertheless, it's going to enter in production. Production version are expected to be in 2018. We hope like the third quarter of 2018 that we will have the production version that you can put, of course, on your wrist and enjoy as a client. So basically, how does it work? So that's a full mechanical watch. That's important to understand. And we have 3 different ways to use it. We have a full mechanical mode, so it works like any Ressence, I would say. I would not say like a traditional watch. A Ressence is not very much a traditional watch. That's one mode. So e-cron, it's important, can be switched off, and you use your watch as in the good old days. Then you have a semi-i-cron, as I would call it, meaning that, and I'm gonna make again a car analogy here, is that the mechanical mode, you can see it as using, an old clutch for gearbox into a car. Then you have like the semi-e-cron, that's an automatic kind of gearbox, but you still use paddle shifting. And then you will see the full e-cron mode, which is a full automatic mode, and that's the one when you use the app for ultimate convenience and performance. So the Type 2 e-cron concept is, first of all, very quickly said, it's a mechanical watch that set itself. So how does it work? The Type 2 e-cron concept has an electronic components inside the watch that is there to be able to self-set, for the watch to self-set, to self-adjust, and to monitor the time. As we are in fine watchmaking, as we wanted the watch to be completely autonomous, what we created is that this electronic components need energy, and we wanted this energy to be, we don't want to plug in a watch. So what we did is we created a Kinetic Generator. So that's the first source of energy for the e-cron in order to function. That's the main energy source of energy, and basically it's surrounding the base movement. You know that on the Ressence we use a base movement, and on top comes our in-house module complication called the rocks that comes on top of it. Here the kinetic generator is surrounding the base movement, and it used the wrist movement actually in order to charge the battery, I would say, of the e-crown. And then as a backup, we have something that is extremely cool, if I may say, is that we use photovoltaic cells. So we have triple junction photovoltaic cells. Triple junction, it's what is used in satellites, and we use therefore the lights, the outside light, in order to charge the battery. And those triple junction are hidden behind 10 shutters that are here surrounding the selector of the e-crown, and that open automatically when the e-crown is on low energy, is functioning on low energy, less than 50%. So as you can see, it's completely autonomous. You could be in Alaska, e-crown will still function because of wrist movement and because of outside light. So that was one thing that was very important for us, is that you can use your watch, you don't need to plug it in. Then if I enter a bit more into detail, how does it work? So here it might be easier to see because the watch has a selector. Basically, you have 3 modes to use the watch. So we have e-crown off. E-crown off is the full mechanical mode, and then with the selector, you will enter in the e-crown menu. So how does it work? Basically, you have 3 different, let's say, menu. You have a time zone 1 and a time zone 2, because indeed the e-crown will be able to register up to 2 time zones. So I'm gonna give you an example of concretely how does it work. What do you do is that, and I'm gonna show you after the functional prototypes, that you double tap the watch in order to wake up the e-crown. The e-crown awake, and then by single tapping the glass of your watch, you will enter the submenu. So concretely, you double tap your awake e-crown, you single tap, and you arrive in the first mode, which is programming time zone 1 with the manual lever. So what you will use there is that we still have a little lever here in order to set the time. So what you'll do when you're here, you're gonna set the time, let's say 2 p.m. because you're in Geneva and it's 2 p.m. You're gonna double tap again to confirm to the watch that this is now the reference time. So the e-crown will then register this time, and we use that reference time for further monitoring, self-adjusting and self-setting. So self-adjusting, that means that every day when you will put your watch, the e-crown will monitor and will adjust the time if it lost or gained a minute, for instance. The self-setting, which is like the most impressive, the self-setting is that, let's say that you leave for a month, even 2 months, your watch in the safe, you put it back on your wrist, and you don't have to do anything, you just wait for the mechanical movement to start again, and e-crown will set itself again based on the reference time that you registered. And this you can do for 2 time zones. So let's say if you are traveling, or if you are working a lot with, I would say, I don't know, you are in Singapore and you're working with Geneva, you set Singapore in time zone 1 and you set Geneva in time zone 2. This is what I call the automatic gearbox, but with paddle shifting, because you still manually register the time. On this mode, the self-adjusting and the self-setting is to the minute. That's the precision that we have, to the minute. Now we're gonna go to the full automatic mode, which is the full e-crown. You know that we developed an app. What you need to do is that on the selector again, you double tap your watch, you single tap 1, 2, 3 times in order to arrive to this blue line. This blue line is for Bluetooth. There you connect with your iPhone, and there is the ultimate convenience and of course performance, because then you use the app in order, you have a drop-down menu. You can choose then very easily Geneva, Singapore, Dubai, whatever. You don't need to think or to manually set it. You send it to the watch, and then you leave your iPhone away. The e-crown will register the 2-time zone that you decided via your app. And the great thing about that is that the monitoring, the self-adjusting and the self-setting is then to the second. So it's even more convenient because you don't have to look for your CD, you scroll down in your app. And then it's more performance because you can set it to the second. So what we really wanted to do is that bring back trust to a mechanical watch at the end. At the end of the day, it's convenience because you set the watch once, whether with your lever, with the case back, or with the app, and after, unless you want to change time zone, you don't have to do anything about it. And you can trust it's the right time all the time.